This video is about the janitor dropped the dishes until a billionaire stopped his car. If this story inspires you, please like the video, share it with loved ones, and write in the comments how it touched your heart. The sun hung low in the sky, casting warm hues across the bustling streets of Hillcrest City. It was an ordinary afternoon, quiet yet alive, when Henry Thompson, a janitor at the local community center, found himself facing an extraordinary moment. Henry was a man of simple routines. He took pride in his work, often humming a familiar tune as he mopped the floors. But today felt different. As he wiped his brow with the back of his hand, he felt the weight of exhaustion pressing down on him. He had worked 2 shifts and was preparing for a third, yet the thought of his family kept him moving. His wife, Clara, was recovering from an illness that had put a significant strain on their finances. Their teenage daughter, Mia, had dreams of attending college, but the thought of tuition felt like an insurmountable mountain. Henry was in the kitchen gathering dishes from an event when it happened, the unmistakable clatter of porcelain crashing to the floor. A stack of plates slipped from his hands, sending fragments scattering like dreams dashed against reality. He stood frozen for a moment, staring at the mess. Just a moment, he yelled, half hoping someone would come to help him. But the kitchen buzzed with activity, and no one paid him any mind. After all, he was just the janitor. As he bent down to collect the pieces, a familiar face entered the kitchen. It was Mary, the head of event planning, her hands on her hips. "Henry," she sighed, "you need to be more careful. We can't afford to keep replacing dishes." Henry felt a knot form in his stomach. "I am sorry, Mary, it won't happen again." He forced a smile, but inside he felt defeated. "Make sure you clean up properly. We have a busy weekend ahead." With that, she whisked away, leaving behind an echo of disappointment. Henry gathered the shards with shaky hands, each piece cutting a little deeper into his spirit. He had always been resilient, but today, discouragement felt heavier than usual. Taking a breath, he pushed through. He finished cleaning up and moved to the parking lot, ready to head home for a few precious moments with his family. The walk to the bus stop was usually a time for reflection, a chance to mentally prepare for the evening ahead. But today, he felt a wave of uncertainty wash over him, a whispering fear of failing his family. As he approached the bus stop, he saw a sleek black car glide to a halt. The tinted windows rolled down, revealing a striking figure behind the wheel, a man in his 60s, with a neatly trimmed beard and eyes that twinkled with kindness. "Excuse me," the man said. "Do you need a ride?" Henry hesitated, glancing back at the bus schedule, which wasn't due for another 20 minutes. "I appreciate the offer, but I am not sure." "Come on," the man insisted gently. "My name is Samuel. I promise I don't bite. I just want to help." Henry felt a spark of curiosity. What kind of billionaire offers rides to strangers? He hesitated again, but the thought of sitting on a cold bus bench felt less appealing than taking the chance. "All right," Henry replied, stepping closer to the car. They exchanged pleasantries as they drove through the city. Samuel had a deep, resonant voice that seemed to fill the car with warmth. "What do you do, Henry?" he asked, genuinely interested. "I am a janitor at the community center," Henry replied, trying to mask the weariness in his voice. "A noble job," Samuel nodded, glancing in the rearview mirror. "It is essential for community spaces to stay clean. You play an important role." Henry felt a flicker of pride at the compliment. "I do my best, just trying to support my family, you know." "Family is everything," Samuel replied, his tone turning serious. "I've built my fortune, but nothing compares to the love of family. What is your biggest dream, Henry?" Surprised by the question, Henry paused. "Honestly, I want my daughter to go to college. She is bright, but we're struggling." Samuel nodded, a spark of understanding in his eyes. "Education opens doors. That's the key to a better future. Let us figure something out." The car pulled up outside Henry's modest apartment building. He felt a sense of gratitude toward the man who had shown him kindness on an otherwise challenging day. "Thank you for the ride, Samuel. It means a lot." Samuel smiled warmly. "Remember, it is not just the big moments that matter, it is the small acts of kindness that can change lives." Before stepping out, Henry found himself compelled to ask, "Can I ever repay you?" "Just pass it on when you can," Samuel replied, his gaze steady. "You never know who needs a little help." With that, Henry stepped out of the car, his heart lighter than it had been in weeks. He waved as Samuel drove away, carrying with him a sense of hope. Inside, Clara greeted him with a tired smile, and Mia bounded down the hallway, her energy infectious. "Dad, you'll never guess what I learned in school today." Henry felt the warmth of family wrap around him like a comforting blanket. As Mia spoke animatedly, her passion sparking in the air, he was reminded of the promise he made to support her dreams. Later that evening, while Clara rested, Henry sat at the kitchen table, an idea igniting in his mind. What if he reached out to the community center as director? Perhaps they could start a scholarship fund for local students. The thought filled him with determination. He began drafting a proposal, his heart racing with the possibilities. Could they raise enough funds to help students like Mia? The next day, he approached the director, and after sharing his vision, he was met with an encouraging smile. "Henry, that's brilliant. Let us organize a fundraising event." As Henry poured his heart into the project, community members rallied around him. The janitor, once overlooked, became a beacon of hope. The shared determination transformed the community center into a space for dreams to flourish. And through it all, Henry kept Samuel's words close to his heart. Each small act of kindness built a bridge to a brighter future, not just for his family, but for every student who dared to dream. As the fundraising event approached, Henry felt the love and support of his community. He had gone from cleaning up after others to inspiring them. This journey illuminated the beauty of resilience and the power of hope, reminding him that every fall could lead to a rise. In a world where struggles often clouded dreams, Henry had found an unexpected path, a road paved with kindness and the unwavering spirit of humanity. As he envisioned a better future for Mia and all the children in Hillcrest City, he realized that together they could move mountains. Little did he know, his encounter with Samuel was just the beginning of a remarkable journey that would change not only his life but also the lives of those around him. With each step forward, he was learning that even in the darkest hours, hope shines brightest when we share it with others. To be continued. As the sun rose the following morning, Henry's heart beat with anticipation. The fundraising event loomed large on the horizon, and as he stood in his small kitchen, sipping lukewarm coffee, he felt the wave of responsibility surge within him. It wasn't just about collecting funds, it was about igniting a movement. The table was cluttered with handwritten notes, sketches of possible activities, and a calendar filled with reminders. Despite the chaos, there was a palpable sense of purpose in the air. The warmth of his family behind him was a balm for the anxiety that threatened to seep in. "Mia, can you help me brainstorm ideas for the event?" Henry called out, already feeling the spark of collaboration ignite. "Of course, Dad." Mia rushed into the kitchen, her hair bouncing with enthusiasm. "What do you have so far?" Henry spread the notes before her. "Well, I thought we could do a bake sale and maybe a talent show. You know how talented our neighbors are." "Yeah, and we should have games for the kids. We could do a raffle too." Mia exclaimed, her eyes bright with excitement. "Exactly." Henry grinned, the idea of the community coming together filling him with hope. "Let us make this about celebrating everyone's talents and creating connections." Clara, who had been quietly listening, chimed in. "You both have such great ideas. We could turn this into a family-friendly festival. What about inviting local musicians to perform?" As they tossed around ideas, the kitchen resonated with laughter and light, the worries momentarily forgotten. Yet as the clock ticked on, reality crept back in. Henry knew their journey would not be without obstacles. Later that day, Henry arrived at the community center, where the air buzzed with energy. Volunteers were setting up tables, and the scent of freshly baked goods wafted through the halls. However, amidst the excitement, he noticed a group of students huddled in the corner, their expressions somber. Curiosity tugged at him. "Hey, is everything alright?" Henry approached them, concern etching his features. One of the students, a boy named Marcus, looked up. "We wanted to help, but we're really not sure if we can. Our families are struggling, and we can't afford to donate anything." Henry's heart ached. "You don't need to donate money. Your presence is what matters. You can help with setting up the games or even perform in the talent show." "But what if no one comes?" Another girl, Lily, whispered, her voice barely above a whisper. "Then we'll make a whole lot of noise until they do," Henry replied with a smile, his optimism like a buoy amid their worries. "Together, we have the power to make this a success." As the event day approached, challenges continued to ripple through the planning process. The big sale had to be cancelled due to a lack of volunteers, while a storm threatened to wash out the outdoor activities. Each twist felt like a test of Henry's resolve. "Dad, what if no one shows up?" Mia's voice was small, laden with doubt. Henry knelt beside her, taking her hands into his. "No matter what happens, we've already succeeded in bringing people together. Our community is stronger because we dared to dream." On the day of the event, the skies remained ominously grey, and rain threatened to fall. Yet, as morning broke, a miracle unfolded. The rains held off, and soon families began trickling into the community center, drawn by the sound of laughter and music. Henry watched in awe as Mia took the stage with her friends, their voices blending harmoniously in a song that echoed across the room. He felt a swell of pride, knowing that this was just the beginning for her. The audience responded with cheers, and suddenly, the air was electric with possibility. As the day wore on, volunteers set up booths, showcasing their talents. Local artists displayed their work while children played games that made them giggle with delight. Henry felt a rush of joy as he mingled among the crowd, witnessing people he knew coming together, sharing their stories. "Henry!" A voice called out. He turned to see Samuel approaching, his presence a reassuring light amidst the vibrant chaos. "I heard about the event. I had to come see it for myself." "Thank you for being here, Samuel," Henry said, his heart swelling with gratitude. "It is more than I ever imagined." Samuel surveyed the room, his eyes twinkling. "You've done something remarkable, my friend. You've inspired hope where it was needed most. Do you think we'll raise enough?" Henry asked, a hint of uncertainty creeping in. Samuel placed a hand on his shoulder. "The amount isn't what matters. It is the impact you recreating, the connections being made, you replanting seeds for the future." As the afternoon wore on, rain finally began to fall, but instead of scattering the crowd, it only seemed to bring people closer together. The community center transformed into a haven of laughter and camaraderie. Henry felt the warmth of unity enveloping them like a comforting embrace. Then, as the last event of the day community raffle began, Henry noticed Mia talking to the students he had seen earlier. They were animated, their spirits lifted as they shared stories and laughter. Suddenly, Henry's heart raced as one of the students announced the grand prize, a scholarship for a promising student to attend the local community college. The excitement in the air was palpable as names were drawn, and everyone held their breath. "Please, let it be one of them," Henry whispered, clutching the edges of the table. When the name Mia Thompson was called, it felt like the universe aligned. Henry's eyes widened, and he felt tears prick at the corners of his eyes as the room erupted in applause. Mia rushed to the front, beaming with joy as her friends cheered her on. Henry fought back tears of pride and relief. "You did it, Mia, you deserve this," he shouted, his voice cracking with emotion. As she accepted the scholarship, Mia turned to the audience. "Thank you all for believing in us. This is just the start. I promise to make you proud." The room erupted again, this time in a chorus of cheers and encouragement. It was a moment of triumph, a testament to the magic of resilience and community. As the day drew to a close, Henry took a moment to reflect. The struggles they had faced felt distant now, overshadowed by the joy and connection that had blossomed in the community center. Samuel approached him again, a knowing smile on his face. "See what can happen when you dare to act. You've created a ripple of change." Henry nodded, a sense of fulfillment washing over him. "I couldn't have done this without the support of my family and friends. It is a reminder that we're all in this together." "Absolutely," Samuel said, his eyes shining. "And the best part is, this journey is just beginning. There are more lives to touch, more dreams to nurture." As Henry packed up the remnants of the event, he felt lighter, filled with the resolve to continue his mission. He would not only support Mia but help others discover their potential as well. Returning home that evening, they found Clara waiting with dinner on the table, her smile radiant and warm. "How did it go?" she asked, anticipation in her gaze. Henry's heart swelled. "Better than we could have imagined. Mia got the scholarship." Clara gasped, joy flooding her features. "Oh my goodness." She rushed to Mia, enveloping her in a warm embrace. "I knew you could do it." As the family gathered around the table, sharing stories of the day, Henry realized that this moment was just the beginning. They had turned struggles into triumphs, and in doing so, had forged a path of hope not only for themselves but for all of Hillcrest City. That night, as Henry lay in bed, he thought of Samuel's words, each small act of kindness echoing in his heart. He drifted off to sleep, surrounded by love, knowing that together they could weather any storm, rise from every fall, and inspire a community to dream anew. To be continued. The sun peeked over the horizon, bathing Hillcrest City in a golden glow. Henry awoke with a renewed sense of purpose, the events of the previous day replaying in his mind like a cherished memory. Mia's radiant smile when she won the scholarship was etched into his heart, a reminder that even small acts could create ripples of change. Clara was already up, bustling around the kitchen, preparing breakfast. The scent of scrambled eggs and toast wafted through the air, enveloping the small apartment in warmth. "Morning, love," Clara smiled, her face lit with joy. "I can't believe how well yesterday went. Everyone is still talking about it." Henry poured himself a cup of coffee, letting the warmth seep into his hands. I know, it felt like a dream. I never expected so many people to show up. That was a beautiful day for our community. Did you see Mia with her friends? She was beaming, Clara said, her voice tinged with pride. She is going to do amazing things. Henry nodded, his heart swelling. She has the determination. I just want to ensure she has the opportunity she deserves. As they sat down to eat, Mia entered, her energy filling the room. Morning, everyone, you won't believe what my friends said. They want to help with the next event, she exclaimed, her eyes sparkling with excitement. That's fantastic, honey. Clara replied, beaming at her daughter. What do they have in mind? We could organize workshops, teach kids things like coding, art, or even cooking. Just imagine how much fun that would be, Mia suggested, her enthusiasm infectious. Henry felt a wave of pride wash over him. That is a brilliant idea, Mia. We could really empower more students to explore their interests. Eager to get started, they quickly finished their breakfast and dove into brainstorming. Excited chatter filled the apartment as they mapped out ideas for their next community event, each suggestion igniting more passion. Henry could feel the energy, the motivation coursing through them like a current, lifting him higher. However, as the days passed, reality began to present its challenges. The excitement of the previous event was soon overshadowed by the pressing weight of their financial struggles. Clara received a call from the hospital about a bill that needed immediate attention. Henry, we need to talk, Clara said one evening, her voice tense as she paced the living room. The hospital just sent another bill. We can't keep putting this off. Henry's heart sank. I thought we were caught up. Didn't we settle everything last month? I thought so too, she replied, running a hand through her hair. But they found more complications. We need to pay half of this by next week. Or what? Henry asked, his voice strained. Well, they want to schedule her follow-up treatment, Clara said, her eyes filled with worry. The weight of her words hung heavy in the air. I'll figure something out, I promise, Henry said, his voice steady as he fought to mask the fear creeping in. That night, as he lay in bed, the shadows of doubt crept around him. He thought of Mia, her dreams, and Clara's health. He took a deep breath, reminding himself of Samuel's words. The power of community and kindness could open new doors. Perhaps he could find a way to make this event not just about educational workshops, but also a fundraiser to help families like his own. The next morning, Henry walked into the community center with a spark of determination. He approached the director, Teresa, who had been supportive throughout his journey. Henry, you look inspired. What is on your mind? Teresa asked, her eyes curious. About the workshops. I was thinking, what if we make this an educational fair but also a fundraiser? He proposed, his heart racing. We could charge a small fee for families to participate, and all proceeds could go to a community fund to help those in need. That is an excellent idea, Teresa exclaimed, her enthusiasm mirroring his. We could collaborate with local businesses for sponsorships too. What do you think? Yes, that would give us a broader reach, Henry replied, the idea blossoming. We could reach out to local cafes, bookstores, anyone who believes in community support. As the weeks passed, the event took shape. Henry, Mia, and Clara worked tirelessly, connecting with local artists, educators, and volunteers. They crafted flyers, set up social media pages, and reached out to potential sponsors. However, not everything was smooth sailing. A few businesses turned them down, citing their own financial struggles. Each rejection felt like a setback, but Henry was determined to press on. Dad, what if we don't raise enough? Mia voiced her concerns one evening as they sat at the dining table, surrounded by flyers and plans. We will, Henry replied, meeting her gaze. If we keep believing in this community, I know we can make a difference. We have to trust in our vision. Days before the fair, a storm threatened to derail their plans. Heavy rains poured down, and Henry worried about attendance and whether they'd be able to keep everything dry. Mia, let us think positively, Clara said, trying to comfort her daughter. We can set up everything indoors if we have to. The community will show up. As the event day arrived, gloomy clouds loomed overhead, but Henry felt a fire in his belly as he arrived at the community center. The warm buzz of laughter and chatter greeted him as families began to gather, despite the weather. Mia was already assisting with setting up booths, her energy infectious. Look at everyone, Dad, they came, she exclaimed, her excitement palpable. As the workshops began, Henry watched in awe as kids painted, learned coding, and engaged in cooking classes. Laughter filled the air, and he felt a swell of pride. Even in the face of adversity, they had managed to create a space where dreams could flourish. Between workshops, Hemi made time to speak with families about the community fund. He shared Clara's story, the struggles they faced, and how they wanted to help others. Each conversation revealed shared struggles and dreams, sparking connections they hadn't realized existed. "Thank you for sharing your story," one mother said, tears in her eyes. "We've been struggling too. I'd love to contribute to the fund." The act of vulnerability brought people closer, and soon, donations began to accumulate. As the day went on, Henry felt the sense of hope grow within him. They had created something magical, a community woven together by resilience and the will to uplift one another. As evening approached, the gloomy clouds began to dissipate, revealing a shimmering sunset. Families gathered for the closing ceremony, and Henry felt a wave of gratitude wash over him. "Thank you all for being here today," he began, his voice steady yet emotional. "Today wasn't just about workshops. It was about coming together as a community. We may face challenges, but we are stronger when we stand united." As he spoke, he found himself glancing at Mia, who stood at the front, beaming with pride. "Your contributions will go towards a fund that will help families like ours. Let us continue to uplift one another, to believe in the power of hope." The applause that erupted resonated deep within him, filled with love and support. He felt the warmth of their collective spirit, igniting a fire of determination in his heart. As the event concluded, families mingled, sharing stories and laughter. Samuel appeared then, his presence a comforting reminder of their journey. "Henry, what a fantastic turnout," he said, clapping Henry on the back. "You've done an incredible job." "Thank you, Samuel. I couldn't have done it without the community's support," Henry replied, gratitude spilling from his heart. Samuel's eyes twinkled. "You've planted the seeds of kindness and resilience. The tree will only grow from here." Henry felt a rush of warmth, knowing that this was just the beginning. He had learned that challenges were part of the journey, but it was in facing them together that true strength emerged. Later that night, as he sat with Mia and Clara, sharing stories of the day, Henry reflected on how far they had come. The struggles, the setbacks, the moments of doubt, they all transformed into stepping stones toward a brighter future. "Mia, remember how you said you wanted to help others? This is just the start," he said, pride welling in his heart. "I will, Dad. I want to make a difference. Just like you," she replied, determination shining in her eyes. That night, as Henry lay in bed, surrounded by love, he closed his eyes, feeling a profound sense of peace. The journey was far from over, but together they would continue to rise, embracing every challenge with resilience, kindness, and the unwavering belief that hope would always light their way. To be continued. As dawn broke over Hillcrest City, Henry awoke with a renewed sense of purpose. The events of the previous week played in his mind like a beloved song, each moment resonating with warmth and inspiration. He turned to see Mia still asleep, one arm resting over her head as her soft breath filled the room. Clara was already in the kitchen, the aroma of pancakes wafting through the air like a hug, welcoming the new day. "Morning, love," Clara smiled, pouring syrup into a small bowl. "Ready for another day of planning?" Henry nodded, but his heart was heavy with the reality of their financial struggles. "I am, but the hospital called again about the bill." Clara's smile faltered, concern pooling in her eyes. "How much more do they need?" "A few hundred. They said it as a co-pay for her follow-up treatment. I thought we had settled everything last month." Clara sighed, rubbing the back of her neck. "I don't understand how it can keep piling up." "I'll figure something out," he reassured her, determined. "We're coming together as a community. We'll build something that helps us all." "You're right," Clara replied, her voice steadying. "And whatever it takes, we'll get through this." May joined them at the table, her energy infectious. "Good morning. What is the plan today? Are we going to work on the community workshops?" "Yes, we are," Henry said, the warmth of his daughter's enthusiasm bringing a smile to his face. "We need to make sure we're reaching out to as many people as possible." Mia's eyes sparkled as she took her seat. "I was thinking about inviting some local artists to help with the art workshops. It would be amazing to have their talent in our community." "Great idea," Clara chimed in, her spirit buoyed by Mia's optimism. "Let us reach out to them today." With breakfast finished, the family gathered around the dining table, papers strewn about, each one holding ideas and potential. They wrote out lists of local artists, educators, and businesses that could sponsor their upcoming community fair. The excitement buzzed in the air as they brainstormed. "Dad, what if we host a talent show? People can showcase their skills, and we can charge a small entrance fee," Mia suggested, her eyes alight with enthusiasm. It could be a fun way to pull in more donations. Henry nodded, feeling a rush of pride at his daughter's ambition. That's brilliant, Mia. It'll not only entertain but also bring everyone together. As they wrapped up their planning for the day, a sudden knock echoed through their apartment. Clara opened the door to find Mrs. Jenkins, their elderly neighbor, standing there with a warm smile. "Hello, dear. I heard about your fundraiser. I'd like to help," she said, her voice gentle yet firm. "I can bake some of my famous cookies for the event." "Mrs. Jenkins, that would be wonderful," Henry exclaimed, excitement bubbling within him. "Every little bit counts." "Of course it does," she replied, her eyes twinkling. "And if you need someone to help set up, I am more than happy to lend a hand." "Thank you so much. It means a lot," Clara said, her heart swelling with gratitude. As the day progressed, the family divided their tasks. Henry took to calling local artists and businesses, while Mia and Clara worked on flyers to distribute around the neighborhood. With each call and conversation, the support grew. But as the week wore on, the familiar weight of uncertainty pressed down upon Henry. The hospital bill loomed larger in his mind, and despite all the community support, the reality of their financial struggles nagged at him. One evening, as they sat down for dinner, Henry's thoughts turned dark. "Clara, what if we can't raise enough? What if we fail?" he asked, his voice shaky. "Henry, look at what we've accomplished already," Clara reassured him, placing her hand over his. "This community has come together for a reason. We're not alone in this." Mia chimed in, her voice filled with youthful belief. "Yeah, Dad, people want to help. They care about us. Look at Mrs. Jenkins, she's willing to bake for us." "Just like you said, Dad," Mia continued. "Every small act counts. We have to trust in that." Henry took a deep breath, their words soothing the gnawing doubt in his chest. "You were both right. We can't forget the impact we're making, no matter the outcome." The night drew on, and as they cleared the table, a sense of determination began to replace his worries. They would face whatever came together, and with each supportive encounter, hope grew roots in their hearts. As the day of the community fair approached, the weather threatened to play a cruel trick on them. Dark clouds loomed overhead, sending a chill through Henry as he arrived at the community center early that morning. "Mia, Clara, come on," he called, hastily unpacking the supplies. "We need to set up before the rain comes." But as they worked, the rain began to fall. It started lightly at first, but soon it poured, drenching everything outside. "Dad, what are we going to do?" Mia asked, panic in her eyes as they looked outside. "Just breathe, okay?" Henry responded, trying to stay calm. "We'll move everything inside. We can adapt. Our community is here." As the first families began to arrive, dripping wet but smiling, Henry felt a surge of hope. They came to show their support despite the weather. "Mia, let us set up a welcome table right here," Clara suggested, pointing to a dry corner of the center. "We can sell tickets for the workshops and the talent show." The volunteers rallied, moving tables, chairs, and booths indoors, transforming the community center into a cozy haven from the storm. Laughter bounced off the walls, and slowly, the initial gloom began to lift. As Mia stepped onto the stage to announce the talent show, her voice rang out clear and strong. "Welcome, everyone. Thank you for braving the rain with us today. We're here not just to learn, but to support one another. Together, we can make a difference." The atmosphere in the room shifted, a wave of determination washing over them. Families gathered, embracing the spirit of community as they engaged in various workshops. Henry moved through the crowd, feeling a sense of warmth. He approached a group of young children eagerly trying their hands at painting. "What do you think?" he asked, kneeling beside them. "Look, Mr. Henry, I am making a rainbow," one little girl exclaimed, her eyes shining with pride. "That's beautiful. I love how bright it is." Henry encouraged, feeling the energy of hope radiate through the room. As the workshops concluded, families began to gather for the talent show. Mia shined as the host, her excitement contagious. "Let us welcome our first act," she announced, and the atmosphere crackled with anticipation. As the talent unfolded to singers, dancers, and poets sharing their gifts, Henry felt the power of resilience fill the air. The sound of applause echoed, mingling with laughter, as the community celebrated one another's talents. Then, it was time for the final act. Mia took the stage with a few friends, ready to sing a song they had practiced tirelessly. As the first notes filled the room, Henry's heart swelled. They were not just performing, they were embodying the spirit of hope that had brought everyone together. As the last chorus rang out, the applause was thunderous. Tears glistened in Henry's eyes as he watched his daughter shine, her smile illuminating the room. "Thank you, everyone, for being here today." Mia beamed, her joy infectious. This isn't just a talent show, this is proof of what we can accomplish when we support each other. The crowd erupted in cheers, and Henry felt the weight of the world lift from his shoulders. They had come together despite the odds, and this community was stronger than he had ever imagined. As they concluded the event, Henry scanned the crowd, feeling a sense of gratitude wash over him. He approached Samuel, who had returned to support them again. "Henry, this was incredible. You've created a vibrant space for connection," Samuel said, his eyes sparkling with warmth. "You've made an impact that will last far beyond today." "Thank you, Samuel," Henry replied, his heart full. "I couldn't have done it without the community and my family. We've faced challenges, but we've also grown." As they began to pack up, families gathered to share stories and laughter, creating connections that would inspire future collaborations. Henry sat with Mia and Clara, feeling a sense of fulfillment wash over him. They had turned struggles into triumphs, forging a path of hope not only for themselves but for all of Hillcrest City. That night, as Henry lay in bed, the events of the day replayed in his mind like a treasured memory. The power of resilience, kindness, and community echoed within him, igniting a fire of determination. The next morning, as sunlight spilled into the room, Henry awoke with a sense of purpose. He realized that the challenges would come together. They would continue to rise, embracing every obstacle with the unwavering belief that hope would always light their way. To be